In the town of Wigan, he was a hero. Graham Lowe was on top of the rugby league world. He'd coached the best players in New Zealand and England. Next would come Australia. Not wanting to be separated from his daughters in Brisbane any longer, Lowe looked set to return down under. With his record, he was being chased by a number of big Sydney clubs. The Manly Warringah Sea Eagles got the nod.
Changed everything, and he ruffled a few feathers, really. And I think a lot of coaches coming into the situation that he was coming into would have done so and met with a brick wall sort of response. But he was given a lot of latitude when he arrived, and he really sort of took everything by the scruff of the neck, and you know, didn't sort of dilly-dally at all right from the word go. He wasn't in a situation where he wanted to sort of make friends or you know, introduce things slowly. He came to the club with certain ideas. This is the way it was going to be done, and he's implemented those ideas, and they were effective right from the start. He hasn't sort of taken time to implement them. Things like players travelling to and from games in a bus together, strict dress regulations for all players, collar and tie to games. The fact that we all had to go back to the club and be seen and be accountable to our spectators. You know, little things like that, but you know, training, regimenting the players to a certain way of training, being ready, if we trained at 5 o'clock, being ready at 4:45 on the paddock, doing their own warm-up. So when 5 o'clock started, well, we started, and there was no sort of messing around at all. That sort of discipline he installed in the club right from the word go.
Wherever he goes, he's the boss, and he lets everybody know, not just the players, he lets the fans, and more importantly, the officials know that he's there. If you want him in the club, you've got to abide by his decisions, and if you like, he's a coach, a captain, chairman of the supporters club, and general manager, chief executive of the club, all rolled into one.
I want to be boss. I won't have anyone else being boss, and it's got to be done the way I want to do it. Otherwise, I'll stamp my feet up and down. And they accepted it.
Manly also accepted Lowe's decision to appoint the brilliant rugby union convert Michael O'Connor as team captain.
He's a naturally gifted runner of the ball, and his poetry in motion when you watch him in full flight, he's what people come along and pay the money for. He's the sort of guy that draws the crowds, and he's a perfect captain for me. A captain needs to be many, many things. One of the things he does have to do is try and ensure the game plan that you want to use is carried out. He's got to ensure that the lines of discipline, the standards of behaviour are adhered to, and as long as Michael plays, he will remain captain of my side.
But before Manly had started the competition, the new coach was in hospital and seriously ill.
It only took them 5 minutes, and they diagnosed it as the majority of the veins in my left leg were clotted. All of a sudden, my whole life was turned upside down because my approach to life, the way I live generally, everything had to change. And it had to change, otherwise I wasn't going to live. It was as simple as that.
When you see a bloke as ill as he was, and how unfortunate it was, to persist and not give up, that can't do anything but lift players and lift people. You want to play for Graham. That's the effect he has, and not just because of his illness, but that's the effect. That's a person Graham Lowe is.
In May 1990, Graham was a surprise spectator at the All Black trials. He was looking for a utility back for Manly, and one player in particular held his interest.
I put a call through to Lloyd Drake and told him, you know, that we were looking for an outside back and could he keep his eyes open, and I never thought much more of it. And then just one day, one evening out of the blue, Lloyd rang me up and he said, listen, I've got a fellow over here that I think you should have a close look at. His name is Matthew Ridge.
Matthew Ridge was a second-string All Black. He was denied the #1 fullback job by John Gallagher, and the presence of brilliant goal kicker Grant Fox denied him a chance to show off his kicking abilities or make the first team.
I then got a couple of videotapes of Auckland in various games, and while it's difficult to pick up the qualities of a fullback role as in union as compared to rugby league, it immediately became apparent to me that Matthew, he was lively, he was enthusiastic, he was the sort of player who, given half a chance, would play 3 or 4 positions at once. and he was brave. So I had to go, put a call through to him one night and said to him that, you know, would he like to play rugby league, and he sounded very positive over the phone, and you know, I was impressed with everything he said to me. He was a determined bloke, very sure of himself, I suppose, cocky, more the word, I suppose, but he knew what he wanted. He knew it was going to be difficult. He was under no illusions at all on how hard it was going to be. But in saying that, he was also sure that he could make it.
Matthew settled into rugby league and Manly. Under Graham Lowe's guidance, he became one of the most successful rugby union converts ever. Matthew mesmerised the Aussie public with his kicking, and despite starting the season as rank outsiders to make the semi-finals, Manly broke into the last 5, meeting Balmain in the first semi.
O'Donnell throws a dummy. No one inside.
After beating Balmain, we were up against the Brisbane Broncos in the second semi-final. We'd been playing well, but a fired-up Broncos side simply out-muscled us on the day with strong-arm tactics.
Hit over the top by Miles. Now there was a big swinging arm on that tackle.
2 minutes to go. Madison got a pass for Jackson. Jackson's in the clear. Jackson will score. Jackson's in for the Broncos. Is he excited or is he excited? The Broncos score. That'll win the game. Manly go fishing.
We'd lost, we were disappointed, but all of us knew that it wasn't a flash in the pan, and come 1991, we'd be able to strike back.
Manly's greatest battles of the 1991 season would come against the brilliant talent from Canberra. In the first round, Manly did it easy, winning 46-12.
Lyons holds it up for Tuvey. Tuvey looking for support, gets it away to O'Connor. O'Connor steps through one tackle, and O'Connor comes around to score the try. Great hands once more from Manly.
On Manly. Manly's got the speed down the flanks to cover kicks like that.
They swing it wide here. Quickly it goes out to Iro, standing in the centres. Inside is Hassler. Hassler coming through to Belcher. Gets it out to O'Connor. He hangs on to it. Pushes away. David Ronson for the line. Chased by Wood. He got there.
Yes, Ronson got there, but so did Graham Lowe. Just 8 weeks earlier, he'd collapsed with a brain hemorrhage. Though told to take 6 months off, the day Graham was released from hospital, he visited Manly. And while he did all the talking, he also found in those guys the motivation to keep going. The feeling was obviously mutual.
When Graham was sick, the side was sick, you know. When he wasn't around us, we weren't performing, and whether that was coincidental, I think not. I think that he genuinely does have exert a big influence over the side, or the sides that he coaches, and noticeably this year when he got sick, we didn't perform well pre-season. When he was sick last year, also the same sort of thing happened. And then when he was away for the State of Origin games this year, well, Manly suffered. So I don't think it's any coincidence that when Graham's not around, constantly monitoring what's going on and talking to players, motivating them and keeping them on that right frequency, the side suffers.
Our best performance, in my eyes, was we were beaten in the game against Canberra 14-13. But we had a whole lot of injury problems and the players stuck together. We were pegged by a point in the end. To me, that'd be the most memorable game, even though we did lose.
Ian Roberts himself gave me plenty to remember. His comebacks after serious injuries inspired us all.
Roberts again. This time it's Coyne. He's trying to lift his side. You want to talk about some emotion here. Look out, Gary Coyne. Good night. Lyons. Back for Roberts. He's been everything. In everything, I should say. Now Reg. Jones. In front of the post on the last, and they're 10 metres out. Lyons. Field goal time. Kick through in the play of the ball. Now Walters. Good hands from Daly to Belcher. To Stewart. Flicking. Looking to bring somebody in. Martin. He left Hancock standing. There's the first try.
Sometimes you sit there and you feel like you are conducting an orchestra, I suppose. In other ways, you feel helpless. Sometimes you think, gee whiz, you know, they look uncoached. Or sometimes you think, gee, I'm really proud of them. But whatever it is, you get all the feelings. You get every single emotion that's possible. You get sitting on the sideline, I believe, and it's just part of the reason why I do the job. The one word that describes what I feel like sitting on the sideline watching a game is probably proud.
Cliff Lyons, the captain. Big boots to fill.
Graham would have reason to be proud of his injury-ridden Manly side, who met the Raiders in the semi-final with no one giving them a chance.
It makes you wonder what you've done to deserve such bad luck, but that's the way it goes. I think off the top of my head, we had Tony Iro out with a knee reconstruction, Hasler out with a knee reconstruction, O'Connor out with a calf strain, Ian Roberts out with a medial ligament, David O'Donnell out with a medial ligament, David Lydiard out with a shoulder reconstruction, plus a host of others. I can't remember, they're just the ones off the top of my head. So it didn't look too good, but the thing is about rugby league is the same as anything. You win with what's available. You don't win with what is not available, and that's the approach that we had to take into the game.
This was do or die for Graham Lowe and his Manly Sea Eagles. They had to beat the Raiders in their semi-final to keep premiership hopes alive.
Manly arguing that Stewart's tackle was high. Tuvey stays down injured.
It was certainly not helped by the fact of losing Jeff Tuvey just in the first 5 minutes, I suppose, of the game. He got a knock in his eye, and he had to come off, and that was it was a devastating blow for us, because all our game plan was basically revolving around Tuvey and Lyons. They were like the steering wheel of our ship, and all of a sudden we only had one there.
Lyons again. Ball was forward. It looked to Jones. He can't reach out.
If we were going to go down, we were going to go down with all guns blazing. Or what guns we had. We only had some little pop guns by that stage, but they would certainly be popping away, and probably not right of me to think this way, but I did feel very, very confident, without trying to tempt fate. I did feel very, very confident that we'd actually win the game. And obviously everybody tipped against us, didn't give us any chance whatsoever. But we went out and the guys played the games of their lives.
Stokes working with Iro. Too big. He got to the outside. It had to happen. But that is just how he likes them. Now he's got support. Shows it. Now Iro again kicks ahead. Belcher and Iro. Who got there? Daly on the last. They keep it alive. Belcher under the post. Ridge. No torrent. Under the dot. Manly down their own end.
Yeah, a lot better. When the ball movement's not working, they've got a good forward.
Here they go, Iro. He's got Stokes. He doesn't need him at the moment. Here comes Meninga. Back to Stokes. What a try. Oh, what a try. This semi-final is on the line for anyone. Last tackle, Meninga. Stewart. One more. They've got numbers. Canberra, too many. Belcher. Back to Daly. They've still got numbers. Back it comes for Coyne. Desperate for Manly. Coyne a double. I didn't think it would ever come.
And I would just spent the whole time going round and round the team saying, come on fellas, you can do it, just come on, just go out, this is the last 40 minutes, just go out and play as you've been playing and enjoy it, just enjoy it. And there was no big strategy or anything like that, it was just get back out there and enjoy it. And I did notice out of the corner of my eye that Martin Bella, once he'd sat down and the bleeding had started occurring again in his hip, because he had this very, very bad hip injury, I knew that he was, it was basically going to be impossible for him to carry on. But he's such a strong person, got such a big heart. He said, no, I'm okay, and but he was really limping badly. So we got everybody up and patched them all up again and sent them out, and we really look forward to that last 40 minutes.
Bruised and battered, Manly fought back, but there was no way anyone was going to catch Mark Bell.
Bell! Bell gets clear. Can they catch him? Iro's chasing. Hancock's chasing. Hancock's flying, but too late. As simple as that. But what a chase. The scoreline
10 minutes
is
into the second half, Martin Bella could no longer take the battering on that injured hip.
You're always, you know, very, very disappointed when you've got to come off, I think. I mean, I pride myself on being able to go the distance and still be going hard when it's finished. But, you know, there were just too many of our guys that were too knocked around, but full credit to the guys that replaced us. You know, if a couple of things had have gone our way, you know, that quite well could have been our game then.
last tackle.
But the Canberra Raiders and Gary Coyne in particular seemed to be on a roll. Suddenly, the match looked to be slipping away from the Sea Eagles.
Does it for Coyne. Coyne, hat-trick. Gary Coyne gets up beaming. A hat-trick.
The question for Manly isn't whether they're capable
But
of scoring
Lowe's
a try.
boys
They're
weren't
such a good
giving
side.
up, and
They
5
can
minutes
score tries.
later,
It's a matter
they
of
were
whether
back
they
in the
believe they
game.
can score a try and go on and win the game.
Williams gets it to Ronson. Ronson gets it back to Williams. Williams to Cunningham. They've got it. And it will be 6 points. I tell you what, that reserve bench might have to be warmed up again. Forget about the ice.
Manly's euphoria was
The
short-lived.
Sea Eagles are not finished.
Unfortunately, we had a try disallowed at a crucial time there that could have had a big bearing on the result, but it's a sort of thing that you do have to accept because the referees are under a lot of pressure, and any mistake they make is obviously well documented and highlighted, but it's no compensation though, and it doesn't give you any comfort to know that sort of thing. But it was basically a 6 points that we dipped out on.
Williams has Iro. Iro couldn't get there. Hancock does. Oh no, he's got it for going forward.
If anything should have happened from that particular movement, the referee says that the ball went forward. Well, I don't think it did, and I don't think anyone at the ground other than the ref thought it did as well. But if there was anything other than a try that should have come from it, well, we should have possibly been awarded a penalty because Kevin Iro was tackled without the ball. But, you know, those decisions, that's decisions the referees make. They do and can have a dramatic effect on the game, but I believe you've just got to accept them in the spirit of the game.
This is unbelievable defence by Canberra.
Manly were determined to strike back, and Matthew Ridge led the charge.
Keeping the pressure on, and I'd be very surprised if Canberra don't crack in the near future.
Now Ridge takes it 10 metres out. He put his head down, believed in himself. Lions, Iro, there it is. Yeah, they cracked. Oh, what a semi-final finish coming up.
Matthew is, without doubt, in my opinion, the #1 fullback in the world, and but he's not a very big fellow, Matthew. But I think he forgot his size. I think he thought he was Martin Bella for a while. He put the ball under his wing and put it into Turbo, and he took off straight at them.
The game's biggest controversy would come in the dying minutes as John Jones was penalised for lying on the ground when he appeared to be injured.
The score in the end was unfortunate. You know, being penalised from John Jones being on the ground as he was, and then obviously being injured, seemed unfair. It was cruel. But that's what sport's all about. You know, everything's good when things are going well for you. It's good, but you got to understand and accept that things won't always go well.
A lot of people are going to call it a harsh penalty.
The referee allowed play to restart, and Canberra scored before the injured Jones could leave the field or his replacement could get onto the park.
Quick tap. Coyne gets 4. Gary Coyne gets 4. That's it. It's over. Everybody was standing around. Mal Meninga took a quick tap. The Raiders are back again. The backs were turned on the MMI replay. They all walked away. Graham Lowe's Manly side have not let him down. He could not be any prouder. The Raiders will continue to proudly defend the Winfield Cup.
The year was over for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. Graham Lowe was heartbroken.
Well, you just feel sorry for everyone. I suppose. You know, there's nothing you can do, and you just feel sorry.
It was the end of the toughest year of his life, a year when many people would have just given up.
Probably if I had a dream and something that I hoped could happen, I just hope that I've always got the energy to fight off any feeling that you might have at different stages to give up. You know, whether they be through things not going the way you want them, or you know, health-wise, or anything. You know, it's easy to spit the dummy out sometimes and just sit back and put your feet up, and having the energy and that great feeling when you open up the blinds every morning and looking outside and seeing a sky and knowing it's a new day coming. The energy to look forward to that day and to complete the day, that's all I look forward to.